Canada, get ready. Our CBC News decision desk is ready to make a call. Canada's next government will be a Liberal government.
Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada with me? America wants our land, our resources, our water, our country. Never. But these are not idle threats. President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never ever happen.
Oh, Canada, it is with great glee that I announce the Conservatives have once again failed to win an election in Canada. This time in their most spectacular fashion yet, losing the 25-point advantage they were polling at in less than 2 months, resulting in the Liberals managing to clinch an unprecedented fourth term as the governing party of Canada. Their leader, Mark Carney, central banker rockstar, has managed to pull off the impossible, securing a tight victory over the Conservatives with 168 seats, 4 short of a majority, compared with the Conservatives' 144. The leader of the Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre, even lost his fucking seat. Let me repeat this. 2 months ago, in February, the Conservatives were 25 points ahead in the polls, and the Liberals were literally heading into electoral annihilation. And yet, somehow, Mark managed to turn the whole world upside down and pull off a stunning victory. It was truly an unprecedented turn of events. What happened? I hear you asking. 2 things happened during those 2 months that caused this stunning reversal of fortunes. Number 1, the Liberals ditched Trudeau, who had grown unpopular. But really, even that is secondary to the real cause behind this. Number 2, the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. Ever since that orange menace returned to the presidency, and as recently as this fucking morning, Trump has been half coaxing, half threatening Canada to allow itself to be annexed by the United States and become the 51st state. Now, as you can imagine, this hasn't exactly gone down well in Canada. And suddenly, the pro-Trump conservative guy who was nailed on to be the next Prime Minister of Canada found himself between a rock and a very soft place. And that 25-point lead evaporated to fucking dust. Because how could the good people of Canada vote for the guy who a hot minute ago was all in on the train that now wants to annex them and steal their rarest earths? Instead, they went with the guy who is at least economically competent and doesn't style himself after the guy who wants their land. Who could have guessed? And so Mark, who 5 months ago wasn't even involved in Canadian politics, now finds himself able to form a minority government in coalition with probably the same guys as last time, the New Democratic Party, the NDP, let's call them a solid center-left party that, although heavily depleted from the last election, will still very likely retain kingmaker status as the tiny party propping up Carney's majority in parliament. And really, this was the story behind this election, with everyone from the center to the far left abandoning the smaller parties to rally behind the Liberals in order to defeat Poilievre's Conservatives and face off against Trump's now existential threats. In the battle for Canada and its very existence, in the battle against Donald J. Trump, the Conservatives, with a few notable exceptions, didn't even know which side they were really on. And so it was never a battle they could really win, which has led to one of the biggest electoral upsets ever witnessed in political history. Let's call it the Trump effect. In fact, the liberals should without hesitation send Trump a jar of their finest maple syrup, because nobody did more to give those guys a fourth term in government than Donald J. Trump. See, even a tumor has silver linings. And speaking of the orange tumor, he's now had 100 days in office to be capped off with a rally today, because that's what presidents do, rallies. And what 100 days it's been. Oof, I can't wait for the next 100. Anyway, there's going to be a separate episode with Luigi about this. But before I switch off, let me very quickly have a brief look at what's been happening with Russia and Ukraine and Trump's peace attempts. Trump now thinks that Putin maybe doesn't want to stop the war, since he's been shelling Ukraine nonstop since he fucking started it, and has urged him to stop doing it in what I'm sure will be an incredibly successful intervention. This change of mind was prompted after his meeting with Zelensky in St. Peter's Basilica during Francis's funeral, where, under the grace of God, I told him, Volodymyr, you have no cards to play. And he replied, he has Charizard. Yeah, Charizard. That's pretty good, right? Look, this isn't happening. Trump is evidently fumbling this, much like his stupid trade policy, and the possibility of any reasonable peace deal that Ukraine and Russia can live with happening anytime soon seems highly unlikely. But hey, at least Canada might make it.